Hi, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video is me speaking at the Hope Works event in April of 2024 at the Peaceful Paths Domestic Violence Agency in Gainesville, Florida. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
I'm really excited that we have a maker here tonight who believes in the healing power of art and is also a survivor who's going to speak to us about her experiences and how she can inspire all of you to continue to be part of this work. So Heather, come up.
Hi, thank you so much for being here and for showing your support to the survivors of domestic violence and for those here at Peaceful Paths. So this event is all about featuring works of art from survivors of domestic violence and for supporting 50 years of Peaceful Paths being here. My name is Heather and I'm a survivor of abuse. So my relationship was kind of like a true crime podcast. Started off like a Hallmark movie, the whirlwind romance, but it ended like a Lifetime movie. Definitely not what I expected. It was on again, off again, 6 times to be exact, and I just didn't know how to dismount from the chaotic carnival ride that had become my reality. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, survivors of abuse return to their abusive partners an average of 7 times before they leave for good. There are many forms of domestic violence: psychological, physical, sexual, emotional, spiritual, and financial. Not all forms of abuse produce external visible signs, such as bruises, black eyes, or broken bones. Sometimes the abuse isn't evident to the outside world, which is what I experienced in my emotionally abusive relationship. I experienced abuse for almost 3 years of idealization, devaluation, and then those stages on repetitive vicious cycles, and then finally the discard. I developed a deep trauma bond with my abuser. This wasn't great for anybody, but for somebody that already was fighting an autoimmune condition, my body was constantly in fight or flight mode. I was always wondering how to fix or improve the relationship, or look at things at what I might be doing wrong. But I hung on because I was hopeful that the man I knew from the beginning would show up again. The one that swept me off my feet, the knight in shining armor, but that didn't happen. After our 6th breakup, I ran a background check. And when I tell you, when I saw the words possible felon flashing at the top of my screen, my heart and my stomach dropped to my toes. And I felt nauseous. And when the full report came up on the screen, and when I read about the expunged felony record for felony battery, domestic battery by strangulation, I was in complete shock. This had to be a mistake, and it couldn't be the same person that I knew and the one that I had been dating for the last 3 years. He was never violent with me. He never raised his voice at me. He never laid a hand on me in physical violence. But I didn't realize the amount of and level of mental and psychological abuse that I was already suffering in the relationship and the damage that had already been done at that point. So at the time I ran the background check, we were still in communication. That's the way it was after every breakup. We continued to talk. And I asked him to FaceTime me when he got off work that night, and I confronted him. And in a very calm voice, he said, "Heather, I'm not going to talk to you about this over the phone. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it in person." And this sent chills down my spine. I told him that I would not be speaking to him again, especially in person, because I didn't know if he would do the same thing to me. And this was the first time he ever yelled at me. He said, "I can't believe you. After everything we've been through, you think that I would do something like that to you? Wow, goodbye." And he hung up on me, and that was it. I've been on a healing journey. To me, that's looked like therapy, praying, rebuilding, and healing. And I had the financial means to fund therapy and fund support groups for myself. But if I didn't, I know that there are services here at Peaceful Paths that I could have utilized. That includes their crisis counseling or the support groups, the 24-hour help hotline. And I appreciate that if I needed it, that they offer an emergency shelter in addition to a facility where you can bring your fur baby because they're family too. At Peaceful Paths, hope happens. To me, hope is my faith, finding my creativity again, like this event. Taking a road trip with me and my girls, AKA my fur babies. It's being by the ocean with my feet in the sand. Hope is feeling empowered, sure of who I am and knowing what I bring to the table. It's trusting not only myself, but trusting others again. To me, hope stands for hold on, pain ends. It's important to share my story with the community because, one, I'm not going to be taken down by a situation that the enemy meant for evil, but I will overcome it by sharing the word of my testimony and what I feel like God has brought me through. I want to bring awareness to forms of abuse that show up as invisible wounds to the outside world, but they have long-lasting effects on the survivors. Sharing my story continues to be healing for me. It allows me to build my self-worth and my self-confidence that was stripped away from me. It allows me the opportunity to meet and pour into others that need encouragement and reassurance. And as I wrap up, if you haven't experienced domestic violence in any form, I pray that you continue to have God's hand of protection over your life. But if you have, or someone that you love has, I see you and I empathize with you. And I'm so sorry that you or someone you loved had to experience this. When we hold on and we reach out and we use our resources, there is such beauty on the other side of abuse. A beauty that I wasn't sure I would ever get to experience, but here I am. Thank you for being here tonight and celebrating 50 years of Peaceful Paths, saving lives, creating change, and making hope happen. Thank you.